bank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who be caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be, what's good? Oh, wait a minute, let me do this. That's better. Yo, party people in the place to be, what's good? It's number one Chief Rock in Knicks Universe. Welcome to the Knicks at Night podcast, late night edition, I guess. Man, y'all want this party started right. Y'all want this party started quickly, right? Let's go. The Knicks beat the Sixers. And yes, it feels good. It feels good, man. The hip-hop legend Cole Mega is in the building. Will Salkin was good, man. David L is in the building. Red, hey, Robe on was good. D Nice is in the building. Salute, salute, salute. Man, what's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Man, it feels good. It feels good to be a Knicks fan right now, man. It feels good right now, man, to be a Knicks fan. Man, we beat the Sixers. That feels good. I want to go back to the box score just real quick because there are some things that jump out at me, man. All right, so here's one of the things that jumps out at me immediately. Emmanuel Quickly played 21 minutes, had 4 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Evan Fournier played 14 minutes. Derrick Rose played 7 minutes. Jericho Sims played 5 minutes. But here are the things that really stood out. Isaiah Hartenstein only played 21 minutes. Cam Reddish was everywhere and only played 15 minutes. Obi Toppin was clutch and only played 20 minutes. But the shocker of the night is Quentin Grimes gets the start and only plays 15 minutes. Almighty Finesse is in the building. Almighty Woj. Almighty Woj is in the building. Yo, if a team tells me one more, if one more Knicks fan tells me that the Knicks defense is bad, I'm telling you, I might shut it down, bro. Because again, A New York Knicks-led defense held a team under 40% shooting from the floor. Sherwin, you like stats. Here's one for you. The Philadelphia 76ers shot 37.8% from the floor and 27.7% from three. What does that tell you? What does that tell you, Sherwin? Mr. Sherwin. Mr. Sherwin, what does that tell you? That tells you that this Knicks team has found them a defensive player from somewhere, right? The Knicks found a defensive player from somewhere. Who's that defensive player? Somebody on this Knicks team has stepped up and has become a defensive imprint. Somebody on this Knicks team from last year, a player from last year, or someone on this team has become an impactful NBA player for the Knicks. Sherwin says Grimes and Cam. Hey, D Nice says Cam Reddish. Okay. Because right now I'm looking at team stats, right? I want to look at defensive leaders. Team stats, defensive leaders. Right now, the New York Knicks are 21st. Oh, okay. ESPN didn't update. Okay. ESPN is still showing us with ESPN with their crazy stuff is still showing us with 7 games played. So I can't use that. Sherwin says, my favorite players are Mitch, Cam, and Grimes. Please tell me. Hey, man, I'm with you. Sherwin, I'm with you. Why is Cam Reddish not getting more minutes? And listen, here's another thing I want to point out. As long as I've been doing this, Julius Randle has been bashed by Knicks fans. What I want to point out is tonight or last night, or however you want to, the semantics of this is I guess it's officially yesterday, but I mean, the way I live, nights overlap. Julius Randle earned his money tonight, even though his shot wasn't going. David L., I'm with you too on that. We don't have well. David L. says, love how we got not one injury now. No, that's not totally accurate. Mitchell Robinson is hurt, but we just don't know to what extent. We hope Mitch comes back. But I feel you. There. I'm hoping Mitch just got a bump or bruise or something like that, and he can play. But I feel you. I'm with you on that. Ron Cleveland is in the building. Ron Cleveland is in the building. What? Ron Cleveland is in the building. Okay. I see you, boss. So, what I was going to say about Randall is this. I'm not going to heap a whole bunch of praise on Randall. What I did want to say, though, is I'm proud of the way that Tibbs was able to move him to the 5, and he didn't complain or anything, bro. You heard no complaints. You saw no sourpuss attitude. You didn't see any of that from Randall. Randall moved to the 5. He didn't complain. He finished with 17 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He had 6 turnovers, but I'm here to tell you, man, these referees were hunting Randall at the beginning of the game. You saw it. You saw it. They called Randall for travel twice. They called him for ticky-tack fouls early on. They were hunting Randall. It was ridiculous. Almighty Finesse says we couldn't get rebounds. Hey, man, that's the way it goes. But you know what, though? Finesse, we couldn't get rebounds, right? But we out-rebounded them 50-44. And we did play sloppy. Ron Cleveland says, yeah, we had so many turnovers. Yeah, we did play sloppy. It was sloppy. It was sloppy early on, but we won. We played sloppy last night, but we won. Still, Knicks fans is in the building. What's good, Ron? Yo, look who here. Hey, what's good there, Poppy? How you doing?
Man. Freezy. Hey, I sure hate I got an early get up in the morning, man. I was like, I wonder when you was gonna get on, man. I'd have showed my face. You know what I mean? I don't like to just be on and they ain't showing my face.
No.
But man, I gotta call it. I gotta call it for what it was tonight, man. You know what? This team, man. I don't know how we won this game with all them turnovers, man.
Hey, man, look.
All them turnovers, we do that against better competition, we gonna lose, man.
Hey, you said better competition, right?
Yeah, because we was playing the JV team for the Sixers tonight.
Sixers, right.
No Harden, no Embiid. And we was doing everything in our power to give that game away, man.
So the better team won tonight.
Oh yeah, no doubt. At the end of the day is what the scoreboard say.
Right.
You know, but we tonight really made it apparent in my eyes what I see with this Knicks team.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We ain't that team. I hate to break that news to a lot of people, man, that think we this playoff team, man. We need to stop with that.
Right.
This team is not close. They're not close, man. We don't even do the little things to win games. And Philly shot a ton of threes tonight and missed threes tonight when they normally make them. You know what I mean? So
right.
So it just, and then the way Tom was coaching this team tonight, it seemed like he was all over the place, just trying to like do any and everything. I don't know what he was thinking tonight.
Okay. This team can't shoot, bro.
Oh no, we can't shoot threes, man. Our best 3-point shooter is a guy who don't play great defense, and that's Obi. It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy. We in a league where it's predicated on threes, and we don't.
Everybody can shoot, and we don't have no 3-point shooters. Right. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought before this game, and I still do. I think our secret weapon and this is, I know it's early, and I know it's only 8 games, and you know me, I don't shoot the gas. Like, I'm gonna shoot it to you straight, whether
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I'm saying, whether people like it or not. You know what I'm saying? It ain't for me to help people decipher what the truth is. The truth is the truth, regardless, unwatered, unfiltered, right? I think our best 3-point shooter is Svi McCulloch, right?
Yeah.
And the unfortunate part is he has shortcomings that'll prevent him from being a Tom Thibodeau rotational player, right? Because sometimes he's a thirsty 3-point hunter, and he'll have extended defensive lapses. So you know what that means to Tom Thibodeau.
Oh, you ain't getting on the floor, partner.
You ain't getting on the floor.
You ain't getting on the floor.
Yeah.
See what the problem with Tom. Tom don't know how to take what players do good and accentuate that. You know what I mean? Like use that for the benefit of the team.
Yep.
Everybody can't be a defensive stopper. Everybody can't be a good passer. Everybody can't be a good shooter.
Right.
But when you got good shooters, you got to find ways to get them the ball. Think about it. When we had Steve Novak, Novak couldn't guard nobody to save his life. But what he could do is shoot the nolling up that net.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
burn it.
And we found ways to use them. And that's the knock on Tibbs. You know, and shout out to Hardwell. He said something tonight that really struck a chord with me. You know, when we play teams, you know, we'll see a player that we ain't never seen before, and he'll light us up. And we don't take advantage of players not being seen on our teams to throw them at other teams because they ain't in the scouting report. Tibbs don't utilize everything that he has at his, you know, that's available to him. Do I think this team is flawed? Absolutely. I ain't gonna sit there and say this roster is constructed right, because it's not.
It's not.
But you got to use the players you got, especially when I hear the coach say he beat the table for this guy. I beat the table for Grimes and McBride. And McBride ain't getting on the court, and you need defense.
Man. Right.
And I'm going to tell you, man, and you know this, Reezy, games are won at that point of attack, man.
Yep.
You can't stop point guards, you're going to be in trouble.
Man, anything where one side goes against the other, if you can't stop the point of attack, I don't care if it's football, basketball, chess. If you can't stop the point of attack, you lost. Even
being in the infantry when I was in the army, man.
Bruh.
Being on that front line, if you couldn't get pressure on the enemy, you done.
You done.
Once they infiltrate, break that line. You done.
Yep.
You done. And it's the same thing in sports. And that's why I don't have no confidence in this team right now, because we can't stop point guards.
Nope.
We back to what we was, and I'm gonna make you laugh. We back to doing what we was doing before we drafted Frank Ntilikina.
Oh wow!
Remember we could. Hey,
yeah,
think about it.
I remember that.
Think about how the Knicks defense was against point guards back then. We couldn't stop point guards.
Nope.
They was driving through the lane doing what they want to do, and it's the same thing again. We can't stop point guards.
Yeah. We couldn't stop point guards, and we couldn't shoot. You remember that?
Well, why we lost that series against Atlanta? We couldn't stop Trae Young.
Yep, and we couldn't shoot.
And we couldn't shoot. The same thing. And and might I add, Freezy, who was the front office people in that series against Atlanta?
Oh God,
it's the same one we got.
It's the same one we got, bro.
They ain't learned nothing.
Ain't learned nothing, bro. What? I'm frustrated, right? And so my frustration lies not with this win tonight, because I think this is a very good win against a very bad team, and we played bad. So that means it's good, because we could have played bad and played down to our competition and lost. And we've done that in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We play down to our competition and lose. But tonight, we played down to our competition, and somehow these kids, pulled it. Cam Reddish is impressive, man.
Oh, man. Hey, I'm going to tell you, I told you I see shades. Of course, we know he ain't this guy yet.
Right.
He ain't this guy at all. I ain't going to say at all, but when I look at his game, I see shades of a young Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah.
A slasher that can get in them passing lanes.
Yeah.
because he stole one tonight, and
Yeah.
I love that kid's game, man. We just got the wrong coach, man.
Yeah.
And Atlanta going wish they would have kept that kid, man.
Yeah.
He out to prove a point. He's out to prove a point. Right now,
Yeah.
I trust Cam in a lot of ways more than most of the players on this team because he gonna play the defense. And another thing about Cam ain't selfish.
No.
He's an unselfish ball player. I don't think he shoots enough.
Say it again.
I said Cam. I don't think Cam shoots enough.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
I think he's very unselfish.
I very and Ron, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Last year, this wasn't the case. He was the opposite. He shot too much, and he was totally selfish.
And he was lost. He was trying to find himself on this team.
Yep.
He was trying to find himself on this team. And when you look at the way this thing is set up, if we don't find out about Cam more so than any young player on this roster, by the end of this season, we in trouble.
Yep.
Because they got a decision to make. And as far as I'm concerned, if I'm in that front office, a decision already made.
Yep.
I'm signing Cam. He's not even getting the free agency.
Yep.
I'm signing him.
Yep.
But of course, the Knicks, we don't know what they'll do. They might do something stupid. They might trade him to the Lakers.
Yep. Hey, what's up, boss? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
What's
Good
up,
to see
Nev?
you.
Yay, what's up?
Man, what you doing up this early in the morning?
I work at night. So I'm currently working. So I'm going to be up all night.
Yeah, so you may as well jump in and
I
talk.
might as well jump in.
Yeah, man.
What's your thoughts on this game tonight, Nev?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised by the coach actually going playing Obi and Cam in the fourth quarter. Because my original thought since the summertime, I've been saying this to anybody I wanted to hear me, that he had to put Obi in the starting lineup. I wanted to see Obi with Julius. I wanted to see a big lineup. I always thought Obi is a special player. He's the best player on this team. That's my opinion. I believe that, nobody can convince me otherwise. I believe Obi is our best player on this team. So I wanted to see Obi starting. I believe Obi is right now. He's going to be our best scorer, a number one scorer. I even said, I think I said he's going to shoot about 70%, which may be a little too high. Maybe I was a little too
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah.
Maybe
But
55, maybe 50.
55 to 60% on a nightly basis. That's, so if you have a guy shooting at that level, you got to put him in the starting lineup.
Okay.
And work around, whatever weaknesses he has, try to cover it, because you're getting so much scoring from him, and that didn't happen. And I was watching this coach disintegrate. The team comes up. I was basically watching this team comes up at every level.
Okay.
And I come to the point where, and I've written several. I have posted, and even on your in your comments, and in just about everybody comments, you probably have seen my writing, how I question this coach ability to coach, because I don't believe a coach can coach if he constantly arguing with the referees, or arguing with his plays, or screaming at his plays. Because coaching, to me, you have to be composed, and you have to maintain your poise to coach, because then you have to able to see what's happening in the game. And I think you got
to maintain poise in everything.
Yeah,
you got to maintain poise in every. You got to be balanced, bro.
Exactly. And I think he was losing that ability to recognize what's happening. So in fact, I even wrote about that. He was actually helping the opponent
Right.
because he wasn't paying attention to what's going on.
Right.
You know,
But guess what, Neff? I'm
yeah,
gonna tell y'all something, and some people, you gonna catch this and you're gonna see it for what it is if you really look at this game tonight.
hmm
And then other people gonna be like, nah. I'm gonna tell you like this: if Mitchell Robinson hadn't gotten hurt, I think we lose this game tonight.
Yeah.
definitely.
I think we lose this game tonight because you would not have seen that creativity, the unlikely creativity from Tom Thibodeau with what he started doing with that lineup because he had no choice.
He had to adjust. But Ron, let's do this. Because you say that one thing. So that means you have to give him credit for making adjustments.
For making an adjustment. I got to give him that.
Because
I got to give him his credit for that now. And I'm a fair guy when player playing good. I got to give them their credit, or even the coach. And if they doing bad, that's why I say I don't get attached to players and I don't get attached to coaches. I'm attached to progress. And if you're in the way of progress, you got to get up out of town.
You're in the way, yeah. I was gonna say this though. Let me say this about Cam real quick. My dog is in here. My dog agree with you, Ron. He was like, "Yeah, let Ron talk." That's what my dog was saying. You hear him? You hear him back here talking about let Ron talk. but what I was gonna say just real quick is the most impressive thing, going back to Cam Reddish, the most impressive thing that I saw about Cam Reddish is Cam Reddish had 3 assists in 15 minutes to play.
Yep.
And they were within the flow of the game.
In the flow of the game. And what that tells us is Cam Reddish is a student of the game. Students of the game have what you call a high assist percentage, right? And what all that means is they make a mistake, they go back and watch film, they see the mistake, they correct it, and they add it to their arsenal. Now, when that guy comes and traps them or whatever, instead of forcing up a shot, they find an open man, pass the ball to another teammate. It's how Allen Iverson became league MVP. It's how Kobe Bryant went from a young scoring machine to a young MVP, possibly the greatest player to ever play, because their assist percentage was high. And I know that's like a secret thing people don't understand. Like assist percentage, they never led the league in assists. It's not the team assists. It's about their personal passing. Like, understanding how to play basketball, basically. You understand? And so Cam having 3 assists tonight means Cam Reddish is getting better as a basketball player. RJ Barrett, with all those minutes played tonight, RJ Barrett played 37 minutes. RJ Barrett had 9 rebounds. Ron, guess how many?
I think he had 3 assists?
2 assists.
2?
Yeah.
2.
I'm glad you brought up RJ because I did want to talk about RJ. Tonight, I saw aggressiveness offensively. I saw a guy that knew what he wanted to do. When he got the ball, he wasn't hesitant.
Right.
I think he benefited from a matchup of having a slow footer on him, trying to guard him. And what's the boy name? The New York kid. Oh boy, what's the cat? What's the cat name? He remind me of Melo how he plays.
Tobias Harris.
Yeah. He had a slow footer on him tonight.
Yeah.
So he took advantage of his matchup. My only problem with RJ is just consistency, man. Like RJ fades at times during games, man. And I saw it tonight. Like I was like, oh, he got it going early. I said, I wonder how long he gonna keep this going. Because at one point I think RJ had 19 points in the first half, or close to it.
Something crazy, yeah.
And what he finished with?
22.
22. It was like 17, maybe 17 points in the first half. And I know I was like, man, he going off tonight. But still having a problem with that 3-point shot, because I think they showed his 3-point total. I thought he shot better than that from 3.
Yeah.
But I guess he made a couple of them real quick and early.
Yeah.
But how many threes he had? How many he shot?
6.
He took
2 of 6.
He was 2 of 6.
Yeah.
See? Yeah, It sure felt like he made more than 2.
Yeah.
But RJ got to get consistent, man, and that's the reason why. And I'll say this over and over. People get it, man. This is why, I was trying to figure out too, Freezy, man, for a while. Like, why is this kid not considered in the, one of the better kids in that 25-year-old and under in this league? And it's largely in part because the guy starts slow. And to get awards, you have to be consistent the whole year. They're not going to reward you for 3/4 of the season playing great.
Yep.
You have to be consistent from beginning to end.
Yep.
Until RJ get that together, man, I'm waiting to see that mid-range game. That's what I'm waiting on. The 3-point line, I think he needs to stay away from that 3-point line until he can start shooting them twos, because it's obvious that 3 shot is, I don't know what has happened between the preseason and now, because he couldn't miss during the preseason.
Right.
And now it's like he ain't paid his water bill.
Yeah. You know what it is, Ron? And I said this earlier, and I know people think I hate RJ, but I love RJ. Right? But I still have to call it like I see it, bro. I think RJ Barrett is a power forward. Right? You could tell, but you don't see guards would touch that bad. Right? Think about of all the guards that you've seen in your life, you've never seen a guard would touch this terrible, bro.
I've never seen nobody shoot like that. I agree, Freezy. I've never seen that.
Never. A guard, a guard that can't. Think about what's the last time you seen a guard that couldn't shoot free throws. Man, in high school, you're a guard that can't shoot free throws. A guard that can't shoot free throws, you're an outside linebacker.
Hey, you're right. And I tell you this, and I got to give him his credit. RJ really set the tone for this game tonight. He set the tone early. He set the tone. He didn't sustain all the way through, but he set the tone for this game tonight.
Yeah.
But them turnovers tonight, realistically, we should have lost this game.
Yeah, we should have lost.
I mean, they had 16 turnovers. We had 10 turnovers in the first quarter.
Yep.
In the first quarter, 10 turnovers.
Yep. Bro, that's ridiculous.
What that reminds me of, and what I call that, that's being undisciplined.
Yep. That referee calling those travels on Julius Randle was crazy though, bro. The two of them, the first one when he didn't lift his pivot foot, when he just did the pump fake, and PJ Tucker went by and he just ducked under. Man, Tim Duncan made a living doing that move.
Exactly.
So when I saw that one, I was like, okay, that wasn't a trap. But the second one, when Randall just was pump faking, and she said he was dragging his pivot foot when he was, get out of here, and I'd be seeing dudes on the perimeter dribbling and doing that side step to the side to shoot 3-pointers. That ain't no travel. Get out of here.
That's definitely a travel. That's travel.
Humphreys, what you think about that? What you think about how you gonna see Randall pump faking, right? Pump faking, not moving his foot. That's a travel. But then these dudes dribble, step, and then side step to the side and shoot a 3 fading away. That's not a travel.
Frizzy, I am always impressed by your photographic memory. Most people won't even know that my name is Humphreys, but you remember. It's amazing, man.
Man.
You have a photographic memory.
Bro, this is fun for me, bro.
Okay.
This is fun for me, man.
I'm always impressed. Anyway,
I wanted to... Hey, y'all, I didn't mean to cut you, but I got to run, fellas, man. But I definitely wanted to step in, man, and say my piece on this thing tonight. Yeah. And all I got to say, man, in closing, is RJ. I saw a glimpse tonight, man. He got to get more consistent, but I'm still of the mindset either him or Julius Randle got to go, or both of them got to go.
Yeah,
because we can't have them guys on the floor together, man. It's painfully obvious. It's painfully obvious when you separate them guys. The game just look better. The floor of the game look better. You got to get them away from each other.
I hate you got to get out of here because I was just about to say of these 3 power forwards that we got, RJ Barrett might be the one that got to go, bro.
And I know if you say that, Freezy,
You know, I love.
I know how you feel about RJ. For you to make that statement,
But which one you want? Do you want the atypical power forward RJ Barrett or the prototype, the future of power forwards Obi Toppin? Which one would you rather keep?
if I gotta choose, man, I'm gonna have to pick Obi, and I ain't going off. I like Obi and none of that because I like RJ
Right.
too.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Right.
if I got to look at this team and what, because see, I like players who score when it ain't hard to score. And for
Make
RJ
it look
is
easy.
work. It takes work for RJ to score. Anybody, the biggest RJ fan, have to admit he has to work to get his shot.
Extra hard.
You know what I
Extra
mean?
hard.
Obi is just the opposite. It's easy for him to score, but the problem with Obi is that defense still goes and comes. And when it goes, it goes.
It's gone. Right.
So
With Obi, when that defense is it's out the station, bro. It's gone. It's gone. It's yeah. Let me
Yeah,
read these
man. But
super
hey,
chats
man,
real quick.
I appreciate you giving me the chance, man, to talk, man. Hey, if y'all ain't subscribe to the channel, man.
Them.
And I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow night with that Celtics game. See what Tibbs does.
Them.
Hopefully, he learned something tonight.
Yep.
But I ain't gonna hold my breath on it. So,
but we'll see.
We'll see. I that's what I say. I'll see. The jury is out on Tibbs tomorrow.
Yep. We'll see.
All right, man. Y'all.
Hey, thank you for coming through, bro. Yep.
Salute to the chat.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna read these super chats real quick. Coach says, Coach, thank you for the generous contribution. Coach says Cam still needs to be 30 minutes a game player. Yep. And then Coach also says, when are we going to admit iHeart is the answer? Coach, I'm oh geez, come on, Benny. Benny, chill out.
Benny wants some attention.
Yeah, Benny, and Benny might want to go outside. That's probably
Yeah.
what it is. I'm not letting him. Hey, man. But yeah, man. So Coach says, 2 super chats, no love. Oh man, come on, Coach. Come on, Coach. Yeah, man. Come on, Coach. Dre, what's good, bro? So Nev, how you been, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to chime in on the RJ Barrett being a power forward. I believe you're absolutely right, and that he's a power forward. And I've been saying that all summer long. Julius is our best defender. And what I wanted this coach to do was come into the season, and whoever is the number one small forward or power forward, Julius would be guarding and switch. I don't like how he's so stubborn of not putting Julius on the best player, because
Right.
Julius plays better when he has to take on somebody and shut them off.
Right.
He absolutely his concentration goes way up when
Right.
you ask him to take the best guy.
Focus.
Yeah, he's exactly. So that's why I was hoping that he would do something like that instead of just sticking to a set. RJ got to play the small forward and so forth. No, if this guy is going to hurt us, put Julius on him.
Right.
I always believe that Julius is an exceptional defensive player, but he only plays when he believes, hey, like, I have to stop this guy, otherwise we're gonna lose the game. Otherwise, his attention span is weighing back and forth. He doesn't really pay attention to the game, and he loses focus.
Right.
So
right.
I that's one of my issues with this coach, is his stubbornness and his unwillingness to just be a little, release the ropes on these players. Give them more freedom. Give them more freedom on the offense. Stop screaming, yelling, and screaming. Give them more freedom. Sit down for a little bit.
Right.
Take some time. Relax, dude. Sit down. Watch the game.
Right.
Right.
Right. Okay. I'm so you had multiple things there that I wanted to touch on, man. That's a lot. Dre, what's good, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Well, more so relieved that they didn't lose. That's I don't feel happy about the win. I'm just relieved they didn't lose. That makes any sense.
Man, hey, I gotta let the dog outside, bro. I think he ready to. I saw
All
his
right,
back hunching up. I'll be right back.
Sure.
all right. What's up, Neff?
Nothing much, man. What's up?
Hey, just chilling. What are your thoughts on the game or how it came
Well,
to end?
I was really just like you, man. I didn't think we were going to win it. It looks like it was out of our we just were not performing very well. Like we were so tense and very early
Not
on.
push.
We couldn't yeah, nothing good was happening, especially in the offense. We were playing solid defense, but it feels like our foot was stuck in mud in the offense. We couldn't hit anything. The team was playing very like tense. They were not playing loose. You
Eh,
know,
yeah, I
uh,
can see that, and it's a shame that it takes injury for us to see different things
yep,
happen.
yep,
And I'm not gonna say like you need to run that lineup all the time, but when teams are downsizing and playing all types of zone, and we need to space the court, we don't need a traditional center out there all the time. You're just
yep.
putting yourself at a disadvantage, and
But
and and it finally worked out for us
yeah,
because
that
Lord knows if you would have went with that small lineup and Obi or Randall were to miss a few shots, he would have just pulled that lineup out
yep.
like
That's
immediately.
what that's yep. That's exactly what he has been doing, and that's one of my complaints is the unwillingness to just be a little more, use different lineups,
He's
and
just rigid. He's just very rigid.
yeah, it's just crazy, man, for a
Yeah.
coach in this day and age, and what he has, what troubles me more than anything is not that he has been successful with this approach. He has to
It's
change,
the thing
and
is that it's a double edged sword with Tibbs because Tibbs is about discipline and repetition and doing the same thing over until you get it right, which is why all his defenses are consistently solid because it's all about repetition and discipline and
Mhm,
following your principles. But
yep,
the thing that gets him caught is when the game changes, he doesn't want to let go and try different things. He's just so used to his repetition and what he
yep,
needs, what he thinks he needs. And when we're going against lesser talented teams, it works. But when you're going against dudes that are like walking mismatches, you have to think outside of the box
Right.
to clear the gap in talent. And
Right.
he's afraid to do that. Like he's
yep,
operating as if we have like that one game breaking superstar, like a Derrick Rose on the team, where we can do all these things, and Derrick Rose is just going to do what Derrick Rose does, and everything's going to be fine.
mhm,
You have to think outside of the box when you don't have the athlete that's a walking mismatch.
exactly, definitely.
Yeah, man. I was going to say, just wanted to say this thing about Coach. Coach, thank you for the Jen's contribution. I saw it before. I think I read it already. I just wanted to read it again. When are we going to admit iHeart is the answer? I don't necessarily know. I don't know if iHeart is the answer. I think he is a large portion of the
Off,
solution, but not the answer. Like Hartenstein is not gonna solve everything Knicks related. You feel
If
me?
Har if Harstein was like a really good defensive rebounder, then I would just tip my hat. But when he goes against actual centers, he gets bullied a lot of the
If
time.
when I'm gonna say this, just Dre, I'm gonna just say this. Don P, what's good, man?
Yo, what's good, Uncle Priest? Can you
Man, it's been a minute,
hear me?
bro. What's good, man?
Y'all
What up?
working security, man.
Man, I thought you hit the number or something. I was about to
Yeah,
say, I was
I
about to
ain't
say,
that
man,
lucky.
I ain't seen. I was about to say Don P, champagne, caviar, and bubble baths.
Carry
you
on.
know what I'm
oh man.
Nah, man, I just got a whole load of more responsibilities, man. I'm just trying to balance everything.
saying? Yeah, man, it's
Nah,
life, bro. It's
Yeah.
life. Yeah, it's life, bro. I was about to say, my man hit the number. He ain't said nothing. He just skipped town. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
man.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you, brother.
It's good to see you too, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Let me. I just want to say finish up this thing about iHeart right quick. iHeart is tantalizing, bro. Isaiah Hartenstein offers so many different things that by the time this season is over with, I think he's going to be a fan favorite. Now, with that said, before we go overboard on Hartenstein, we have always the Knicks always seem to have that guy. He always seemed to have that guy. The Knicks always seem to have that guy that has like all these different skills in our mind. If he ever puts it together, he might be something, right? Dre, you see where I'm going? Like the Cam Reddishes, like the Michael Beasleys, like the Derek Williams.
Like you see them do it for like a game or two, and then the what's this the glass slipper falls off the foot,
and then our imagination starts racing. You know what I mean? You remember Alexei Shved?
Yeah.
Alexei Shved, he played in the back. He was a point guard for us.
He was like a quick little shifty point guard, but he wasn't a small point guard. He was like 6'3" or 6'4".
Nah, he's 6'7", bro.
He was 6'7"?
Yeah.
Was he that big?
Yeah, he was that big.
He was big.
That's why when you saw him do those things, it looked amazing because he was a 6'7" Euro guy doing the things that 6'2" American point guards were doing. Right? And that's why it looked amazing to us. And he was in the backcourt with a guy named Sasha Vucevic. Remember Phil Jackson got him from the Lakers?
Oh man. Yeah, unfortunately I remember him.
Yes. And so when you saw Alexei Shved, I saw him go around the screen and put the pedal to the metal and dunk with two hands. And I was like, what was that? What was that?
He was like that because it was real dark times to be a Knicks fan at that time. Like we get up in arms now, but that was real dark times right there.
Yeah. But Dre, look, I saw him go around the screen and then put the pedal to the metal. I was like, yeah, a 6'7" Euro guard. Because think about it, when's the last time you saw a 6'7" Euro guard?
That was actually good.
Before Luka, when's the last time you saw a 6'7" Euro guard with handles? Maybe Ginobili, maybe that's it.
I was gonna say Manu, but he's 6'5". So
Yeah, I was gonna say Ginobili, but yeah, you already stated that.
Yeah, man, to see him dunk two hands in the game, we was like,
but the thing is, Manu actually is not European though. He's South American.
He's Brazilian, right?
Argentinian.
That's right. But he played a Euro style.
But he played in Europe. Yeah. And the funny thing is, like the European style is really just the mastery of the fundamentals because the Euro step existed for 30 years before Manu came out and just put his own little twist and flair on it.
and ironically, the Euro style is not even a Euro style is a combination of Australian, South American, and Caribbean, a lot of things put together and just mastered in Europe. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I get it. I get it, man. I get it. But
I missed your earlier take. What was your synopsis on this game? Like what did you feel about this game?
So first of all, it's still early. Let's not jump out a window, okay? 10% of the season has not even passed yet, right? 10% would be 8.2. We're still at 8, right? Let's relax. Let's not fire everybody associated with the Knicks just yet. Let's relax, right? And also, let's not get too high on the highs, too lows on the lows. Let's give. Everybody knows. Everybody in organization, Nev knows this. everybody in the organization needs that orientation period when you bring a new organization together. Like even when you have new coworkers and stuff, it's this filling out process where everybody kind of get into a flow in a
Yep,
rhythm.
yep,
Everybody's
yep.
professional and can do their thing, but you need this time for everybody to kind of get used to each other, right?
Freezy, can I rebut some of the things you're saying?
Sure, you could do, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I actually disagree with you, and it's too early. I actually seen a whole bunch of stuff I had seen last year that made me concerned. So
Right.
I don't believe it's too early. Do I
Okay.
believe we can correct some of these things?
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I am hoping this is the beginning of correcting some of these stuff. So
Right.
where this coach responsibility is one of the I am big on responsibility.
Right.
You know, it's one of the, I like to see this coach start to hold his players in game responsible.
Right.
Somebody has to talk to these players when they make mistakes. It's not
Right.
we letting some of this thing go. You know,
Right.
and it was a sliding scale. They was playing so bad in the last game. A lot of the things they were doing last game in the previous game, that's versus Atlanta, was was pretty much the same thing they were doing last year. So we don't
Right.
want to see that trend. You know, I'm I
Mhm.
I'm always concerned about trend. You know, if it's a good trend, if it's a bad trend, I want to see good habits.
Me
If you
too.
have
I
good
do as well.
habits in basketball, you dribble the ball, three guys is on you, you're gonna pass the ball. That's a
Mhm.
good habit. If you have three guys on you and you still shooting the ball and the next person coming down and taking, hey, I need to get my stuff too.
Right.
That's bad habits. And
Yes.
we were trending that way. So I hoping this is a beginning where we
Right.
can correct some of this stuff and start trending the right way. Start making the the right plays. You know, I don't care if a guy misses a shot if somebody passes him the ball and that's a correct play. I
Right.
do mind if a guy misses a shot because he forces that shot against three guys. That's not a good play.
I
Even though
understand that.
you make it, it's still not a good play because
The-
we want to bring cohesion. uh,
yeah,
go ahead, Dre.
Right.
yeah,
Nah.
you're right. Like I was trying to piggyback off of that. The biggest takeaway I take out of this game is even though Cam didn't play a ton of minutes, this is one of the few times that I've seen like period from Cam where he had a game and he impacted the game and it didn't have to do with shot making.
Exactly.
Right.
It didn't have to do with him hitting a couple bunch threes or hitting a ton of layups. I mean, he made his shots, but he only took four. But
Okay.
plus minus isn't the greatest stat of all time, but he played 15
And
minutes and had a plus 19 in only 15 minutes.
yeah.
He had a plus 19 in 15 minutes. So that speaks to me that we actually outplayed the other team while he was on the court by a
Right.
wide margin.
By a
When he
wide
had,
margin.
Yeah.
and that means
But
he was affecting the game on defense and just
right.
not he was playing simple on offense. He wasn't doing the extra play like he
Unselfish,
wasn't trying to
making the
yeah
basic
like
plays.
yeah, and that's the thing that's been the hindrance in his game is his high IQ. He would over gamble or try to just make the flashy play way too often instead of just playing a role. And if he could just focus in on playing defense, because we're gonna need him if, tomorrow, actually, well today, we're gonna need him because we're going against the Jays over there with the Celtics, and we don't have anybody with their legs underneath them that can guard Jalen Brown or Tatum. RJ has had
Yeah.
decent nights
Or
guarding
or
Tatum.
Brogdon or Smart
Oof,
or
oof.
Derek White.
Yes,
Bro, until
it
Cam
might be
Reddish
a
is gonna
long
earn
night
his
for
thing.
But
it might
but
be a long night for Brunson on defense
But
tomorrow.
let me just say this to your point now about the thing that you saw about the trends thing, right?
yeah,
So
Yeah.
the what I'm saying is there's a difference between Cam Reddish being the first small forward off the bench and last year Alec Burks being the first small forward off the bench.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is Cam Reddish in this new Cam Reddish last year watched Burks do it. This year Cam Reddish is doing it. What I'm saying is we need to allow Cam Reddish some time to get acclimated to that role because last year Burks had did it the last 2 years, and
Hmm.
this year is Cam. So instead of us saying, man, our small forward off the bench is it? All I want to say is Cam Reddish is a different type of small forward than Alec Burks had been the previous 2 seasons. So through 8 games, I don't feel like it's enough to judge Cam Reddish completely on
Yeah.
what he'll be like going forward. That's what I'm saying. And it's the
Yeah.
same. And it's the same thing with other guys too. Because Grimes didn't get the majority minutes last year. And then Taj Gibson played a lot of minutes last year, and now we got Hartenstein kind of in that role. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is look at these guys and this is just me not saying, I'm not making a declarative statement, but me just asking for some leniency while these young guys learn how to do their new roles. I just think we need to give them more than 8 games. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Yeah, because defined
um,
roles make the player more consistent. That's
yeah,
that's for every team.
Yeah.
let me make this point. A coach can make his point known to everybody by who he holds responsible.
Right.
So last game there was a play where and I think everybody saw that where Julius went one. He went on 1 and 3 or something like this, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and he had a turnover. And Brunson was begging him to pass the ball. So if Coach Tibbs just stepped in right there and talked to Julius right there, that's showing that hey, I'm holding my best player accountable. So everybody else will want to follow that preset.
Right.
But
Bottom
when he
line.
doesn't do that, and allow Julius to be selfish, then everybody else to follow.
Never. I don't know, bro. We was here. We watched Jalen Brunson cuss Julius Randle out like a. You didn't. Okay. Because
I
I
we
wasn't
saw it. I
witness to
saw it
that,
in the game. He
but
was
yeah,
mad. Jalen Brunson was
yeah.
mad.
Jalen Brunson
Jalen
was
Brunson was mad. But the coach did not say nothing to Julius, and he
Does
could
it
have.
does it
That's
matter who the
Yes,
voice
it
is?
does. It does
Okay.
because
Okay. Okay.
he's like the authority figure. It's
Okay.
like it's like your mother not saying something when you do something bad.
Right.
It gives you permission to do it again.
Right. 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 Right.
So
Right.
it's the same. It's the same philosophy,
Right.
So he can step in, especially if he holds Julius accountable. Everybody will follow that lead because now you just hold your best player accountable. But a lot of times
Yeah,
that
some
doesn't happen.
turnovers this
Yeah,
game that was
you
just
know,
like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Like, what are
doesn't
you
happen,
doing?
man.
All right.
Right. So
Hey,
so so the Knicks says, since Rose is no longer viable, IQ is not a true PG, and he's not even being a sniper. Who in the league would be good enough to back up PG to help our second unit? Hmm.
I I won't even say Rose isn't viable. This is legitimately the worst he's looked all season. Like, even though he's played limited minutes, he actually scored more points than minutes out on the
Yeah.
court. So,
Okay.
like, when he's out there, he's been very efficient.
Yeah.
This was just maybe a bad matchup or just a bad night because the Celtics were throwing. I mean, the Sixers were throwing some junk defense out there in the
Yeah.
first half. They were throwing some junk out there, and then towards the end of the game, where they were just junking it up, playing that super small ball. And PJ Tucker,
It's
for a guy that hacks as much as he does, he also flops too, which is weird. I don't know
And
how
he
he
doesn't get
flops so
and he
well, but
doesn't
he
get
hacks so hard.
and he doesn't get fouls called on him either. Did you notice that? As long
I
as you've
think
been watching PJ Tucker, he never fouls out a game.
like because if you were to call it by the book, he would foul out of every game. But
Every
but he
game.
plays like that all the time, so
the
you
time.
can't call
Yep.
it all.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I remember seeing him at Phoenix, on Toronto, on the Rockets. He just a hack. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's a hack.
Yes.
I hate to play against guys like that, man.
Don
hey,
P, what's good, bro?
yeah, what's good? What's good? I want to give a shout outs to all the Jalen Brunson fans. Y'all know how I felt about him. I was super down on him during the off season. However, I would say this. He's been pretty consistent, at least on the offensive end. My only concern about Jalen Brunson was defense at the point of attack. That was like my only concern. And yeah, it's rearing its ugly head, but he's been he's been great for us offensively. He's been doing everything that I need for our point guard to do even though he's incapable of playing good defense. You know what I mean? And RJ Barrett, I wish I can say that I have concerns about him, but I said it again during the off season that it dude has to work for everything he gets
Yep.
in a bad way, and it's rearing this ugly head again. Like he has to work for everything he gets, and it's like at a certain point, like one of the RJ fans gonna realize that he's not who y'all think he is, or as far as his potential goes. He's just not, he's not a scrub. He's not a scrub. He's not a
He's
bad
not a
player.
star. He's not a
Yeah,
star. He's just a guy
He's just
yeah.
pretty
that
good.
he can have a good night here and there, but he's not gonna be the guy that you can rely on to take you home down the stretch. That's just what it is, and the team's kind of void of because in the league you need the guy that's 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" that can just do everything at the same time. You know, the Paul
Yeah.
Georges of the
So
world.
so the question is, who on the team? We don't have anybody on the team who could do that yet. But I know y'all hate me saying this. Just judging from the eye test, who has the potential to do that on our team?
If we're talking eye test, it's Cam, but if we're talking consistency, he can't do it. But if it's straight eye test, the physical ability to do it, it's probably Cam.
Yeah.
But
But I think he has to
there's like
be.
a
I think he has
mental
to be.
block between
Yeah, he
him
has to
doing
be
that.
built up. And the thing about I'm going to say this, and I know people are going to be, and I know that people are going to be offended when I say it. But different parts of the conversation lends different parts of truths that are uncovered. And I saw Boston do this, and people will say no, they didn't, but I saw it with my own eyes.
What
I
happened?
saw Brad Stevens coddling Jason
Tatum?
Tatum.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yep,
I've seen
yep.
that too.
I saw Brad Stevens coddle Jason Tatum when he was struggling. And if y'all remember the ABC game, I think Kevin Knox might have scored like 2 straight baskets on Jason Tatum. And so Boston calls a timeout, right? And David Fizdale meets Kevin Knox coming towards the bench and cusses him out like a dog because he blew an assignment. Now, Knox scored 2 baskets back to back, and he blew a defensive assignment. And Boston didn't score; they just got a shot off of it, but the Knicks got the rebound. Or I think it was like an out of bounds or something. Boston calls a timeout. They didn't score, right?
Yeah,
David Fizdale cursed Kevin Knox out like a dog in front of the entire universe. They
it's. I
switched
feel
the
like
camera to Boston. They switched the camera to Boston. Brad Stevens has Jason Tatum in a full out embrace. And Jason Tatum has his head down like, man, I don't know what to do. My shot's not. Brad Stevens looks at him and hugs him, bro. And keep telling, hey, bro, you the future. You the future of this franchise, bro. We got you. You know what I'm saying? We
and
got your back.
I feel
And
like
you know what they did?
you go ahead.
They out of that Brad Stevens out of that. Now you know Brad Stevens is a wizard with the whiteboard, right? So
Yeah.
out of that timeout, they call up a simple baseline play where Jason Tatum gets a wide open look. Jason Tatum winds up hitting that shot and then goes on to score 25 against us. Meanwhile, Kevin Knox finishes the game like 2 for 9 or something like that, and looks dejected on the bench.
I feel like it takes a certain amount of emotional intelligence to get that out of some coaches or some people. That people in general, like some people don't have emotional intelligence and can read the room or how people will react to certain things. And we got to talk about like this newer generation of player, the AAU generation, where they're not forced out of the fire. Like a lot of these guys are not coming from the projects or broken homes. Like these guys have solid upbringings. Like it's just not really the old days where guys are coming from nowhere and their best way out of the hood is a college scholarship.
Right.
Just to even just get away from a lot of these kids come up with pretty solid foundations and their perspective is relative. You can't just bark out off of them. But by no means like Jason Tatum played for Coach K, and Coach K is notoriously hard on his kids. So like he
Yes,
knows.
yes.
So he knows it's a give or take, bro. Like I feel like Brad Stevens is probably hard on his players too, but he has to realize when to be like. I mean, it's almost like being a parent. Like you have to know when to be soft and when to be difficult. When to be hard.
Did you see the Jason Tatum thing he had on the Jason Tatum short he had on YouTube?
With
Nah, I
Coach
did
K
not want.
test him out.
Yes, you saw
I
it, Don
seen
P.
that. I seen that.
Yo,
Yup.
he was like, he was like,
Coach.
the Knicks were beating somebody. I mean, I'm sorry, the Duke was beating somebody, and Jason Tatum had like 2 points, and Coach K went to him in halftime and just ripped him, cussed him out. He's like, "You soft ass St. Louis kid. I should have left your soft ass in St. Louis." He cussed Jason Tatum out at halftime, and Jason Tatum scored 28 points in that half. He was like, "Coach, don't you ever cuss at me again." But Coach, you know what Coach said to him after that? Jason Tatum said that. He was like, "Yo, do you want me to cuss you out every time at halftime?" And you know what that means, right? Coach K knew what buttons to push
Yep.
for Jason Tatum, right?
Well,
And so just real quick, I'm just saying this real quick to get out the way. I think the thing with Cam Reddish is Cam Reddish has not been in a position where he has had a coach that knows how to press the right buttons and in real life, like for instance, like me, like say me and Nev have a conversation, right? I know what buttons to press with Nev, not manipulation, right? But I know how to stimulate the conversation. Like I'm not just gonna talk about baseline stuff. I ain't gonna talk about basic stuff with Nev and Dre, right? I ain't gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about high level intellectual stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if I do that, then it drives the conversation from them, which drives the conversation for me. You know what I'm saying? It's a give and take, the intellectual back and
Tit for
forth.
tat.
Yeah, like I could have easily came in here and said, "Hey, Nev, fire Tibbs, fire Tibbs,"
And I would agree.
you know what I'm saying? But it's the intellectual stimulus. Dre, you feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel it's a give or take because sometimes oversimplifying is necessary, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's not.
And
You have to have the nuance. You have to know how to read people and read who you're talking to in the conversation.
understand what
Context.
motivates. Yeah.
That's why I was
And
like talking about emotional intelligence because that's something that a lot of people don't have. And if you do have it, you know how to deal with people, or know how to encourage people, or know how to speak to people, you know how to get to them. And if
But
you
you have to
don't,
have that experience too.
yeah. It's almost like life is like a basketball game. If you don't got the reps, then you ain't gonna know what to do
Right.
when time comes. So it's all about experiences, really.
Yeah, man.
it's
yeah,
like
Freezy.
it's like working security at a club door with a bunch of drunk folks.
Yeah. See that's a different situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Freezy. I'm waiting for this coach to do exactly that because I I just wrote about this. I was my problem is one of my problems. This coach is I start to question what is happening in the locker room, what
Right.
happening at halftime, because like I said, I pay attention to patterns, and last year after halftime we had a lot of times where we just came out so flat.
Right.
We might have just stayed in the locker room. And that game versus Atlanta, that same dynamic happened again.
Yep.
So it worries me. Is this coach saying something to these players that sap their energy? You know. So because
Is
even
it? Let me ask you this. Is it speech or is it communication? Because you said two things and they seem to be separate, but they're the same thing, right? Like you remember when you brought up the point like maybe 30 minutes ago about how
Mhm.
Tibbs is not coaching the team because he's too busy arguing with the referees,
yes,
right? So is it a non-verbal communication that he's dispensing on this team that maybe
So
is
Captain,
sapping them of that thing, or is he saying something verbally that's rubbing these kids the wrong way and demotivating them.
Yes, I believe the second,
Yes.
the last
Okay.
one. Yeah,
You
definitely.
said yes. I was like, guess what? I was
Yeah,
like preoccupied. Okay.
because it actually happened before halftime, and
Okay.
I thought it was very unnecessary because we were up around 12 points. Around, I think it was like 2 minutes in the Atlanta game, about 2:20, 2:28. He took There was a timeout, the TV timeout. He started backing at the referees, and then he went to his players. But your team is up by 12 points.
Right.
That's a winnable game.
Right.
Why are you backing at your players and berating them? You know, because this game is very competitive. You went up by 23. Now you're still up by 12.
Right.
That's a substantial lead in my opinion, because Atlanta is not you're not that much better than Atlanta. If anything, you guys are about the same level.
Right.
I
You
feel like
know,
Right.
substitution patterns might deflate a player more than necessarily cussing them out. Like if certain guys do one thing, like for instance, not that Obi's flawless without flaw or whatever, but if Obi has a much shorter leash than the average player on his team,
Okay.
and that can deflate a player when like he sees other guys make the same mistake repeatedly, but he plays well for the most part. He makes a mistake or two and he gets yanked. That can deflate him. But to give Obi credit, he seems a lot more stronger willed than anything,
oh,
because
definitely.
in this game he was playing pretty bad for some stretches,
Yeah.
and he came back out in the fourth and
Yeah.
played at a high level. He focused up on both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
And I want to, can I piggyback off of that? And that's what kills me. I also talked about that in the old season. It's the politics. For the first time, Thibodeau went away from the politics by finally going towards Cam and closing out with him. Cam should have played more minutes.
Okay.
He
The
definitely
thing,
should have played more minutes. But
the
my
thing,
thing is,
yeah, go ahead. My
oh
fault.
yeah, I'm all for like our players earning their minutes. I'm all for you know, eating what you kill. I'm all for that. But my thing is, if you playing horribly, why not tip sit them out and put
Right.
people who's playing well in?
Right.
I like the politics of what's going on with this. I'm not feeling it.
Like
Okay.
some of the substitution patterns, like Randall would play until like the 1 minute mark in the first quarter. Obi comes out and plays well, even though Randall didn't really play well in the first quarter. And then he subs Obi out at the 7 minute mark. I'm like, you could let Randall sit on the bench till about the 5 minute mark, 4 minute mark. You got to like force him in back in the game. Like we weren't struggling to score or defend at that point. Like it was just a good back and forth game at that point. And then they got out of hand in the third. And I want to something like completely way off of that. The thing that I did like out of Cam, he was fighting over those screens, like he was slipping
Yes.
through them
Yeah.
screens, like it wasn't even like it was butter. Like he was
Yeah.
getting through, like he was getting through them, like he was 6'3" or 6'4". He
Yeah,
was
man.
Grime size, and I was like, that actually impressed me. Like maybe we could actually throw him at the point of attack against more elite guards instead of putting RJ on it, because RJ, once that screen comes, he's dead. His legs are gone. He's
Yeah.
not making it through. And if he does make it through, he's trailing on the play. He doesn't have the foot speed to make it up. He doesn't have the length to make it up. So it's
Dre,
just like
this
you
this is
just
the
better
thing.
off
I'm
running
telling
Cam.
you, RJ Barrett is a power forward. And here's Wisdom, how you doing, brother?
Yo, man.
Hey,
I'm in
bro.
Cali, so it's still early.
Yeah, man. It never rains in Southern California, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm
That's what they
jealous.
tell me.
Yeah.
Hey, so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, I was gonna get into the whole Tony thing. You know what I'm saying? but and it's funny, they say it never rains in Southern California, and they're from Oakland, which is Northern California. But anyway,
Exactly.
anyway, Dre, I'm gonna say this thing about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's a power forward. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the thing. Here's how I know. RJ Barrett gets screened, right? Manipulates the screen and is not explosive enough to get back to his man. No NBA man should have 4 feet of space between him and his defender, right? If there is a gap of 4 feet between the man that goes around the screen and the defender, you may as well quit and switch on that and have RJ stay with the screener and let your man and let say Hartenstein go with the guy that beat RJ. And here's why. Because if one screen creates a 2-on-1 advantage to the rim, then you may as well scrap your whole defense and just start switching everything.
It's like,
Right? I saw it tonight. I saw Maxey do this to RJ, right? I saw Murray do this to RJ. I saw Trey Young do it. I saw what's the kid from Utah? I saw Ja. I saw the kid from Utah that the Knicks wanted. Donovan Mitchell. I saw everybody do this to RJ, bro. All they do is call the screen as soon as RJ comes, as soon as RJ feet, because you have to play. So as soon as RJ gets into his base defense, sinks his butt, puts his arms up,
they're gone.
and they go, right? Because RJ's not quick enough, he's not twitchy enough. But then when RJ gets screened, he dies on it. Bro, you may as well switch it. Because RJ's not going to be quick enough to recover. But here's the thing. We saw the same thing with Kemba Walker last year. Kemba Walker had these same issues, but for a different reason. Kemba Walker's knees were shot. Yep. RJ Barrett is just not quick twitchy enough to be a perimeter defender. Now, can he be a physical defender? Yes.
He has to play. He has to play at a very, very high level of IQ to anticipate. He has to play at a super high level of anticipation to compensate for his lack of twitch. And tonight he had a matchup with the guy that actually plays the 3-4, Tobias, and he played solid defense on Tobias. Even though Tobias made some shots, that's the type of matchup he has to go against. But unfortunately, a lot of the guys that are in that position are 6'9", 6'10", 6'8", and RJ is 6'6". So that kind of puts him at a disadvantage. He's solid enough to hold up, but he's never gonna truly contest their shot.
Yeah.
Hey, I agree with you 100%, Freezy, on RJ. Again, I was always perceived as an RJ hater because the question I would ask is, what is something RJ excels at? And it sounded like a troll question, but I was sincere in asking that because, again, when you don't have the same speed at your position, or when your speed is below average compared to the rest of your peers within the position you're playing, and especially playing that small forward, when you're just as strong, or if not, maybe a little bit stronger, or more stronger than the rest of your peers, and you don't have that twitch, or you don't have that shiftiness to your game,
that second gear.
Yeah, what can you what can you do effectively?
John P, you know what we call that? I'm gonna just appeal to the sensitivities of old heads. Anybody in here aside from the man raising his hand over 50? Anybody in here over 50? You just chat. If you over 50, raise your hand, right? The thing that we're saying, the thing that we're calling out right now, back in the day, back in the 70s, we used to call it reflexes.
Yes.
RJ Barrett don't have the reflexes to do this. Nev, you ever heard that word reflexes?
Yeah, definitely.
Wiz, you remember reflexes?
Absolutely.
You remember when your homeboy used to hold your hands out and you used to try to slap your homeboy hands? Remember the game you used to play with your hands and try to see who had the fastest reflexes?
Yeah,
exactly.
RJ Barrett don't have none of that.
Yep.
RJ Barrett does. That's why when the Knicks says Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, Andrew Wiggins aren't power forwards. RJ is smaller than these guys, and he's a shooting guard, small forward. But listen, just because you have the height-weight ratio doesn't mean that you have the reflexes, right? Because think about it. Think about this: Big Country Reeves and Shaquille O'Neal was the exact same height and weight. Y'all remember Big Country Bryant Reeves used to play with Vancouver?
Yep.
Definitely.
Him and Shaq were the exact same height and the exact same weight, right? One dude was a quick twitch, speed, ball of energy monster that used to break backboards. and the other dude was like, not that.
Dum, doo, 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 doo. Dum, doo, doo,
Yeah,
doo.
yeah.
Yeah, RJ's
Just
more closer to Chuck Hayes than any of these
yeah,
names that I've
yeah.
seen.
RJ Barrett is not RJ Barrett is not a quick twitch reflex athlete,
He
right?
has to
And I'm
be.
not.
He has to be high IQ. He has to have. He has to have like super high IQ and anticipatory skills to even make
Yeah,
it work. Like for instance, I don't even want to compare him all the way, but Jokic had to lose weight, and then Jokic thinks the game at a very very high level, which is why the Denver Nuggets they have a low defensive rating, despite his ability to not really protect the rim. He
right,
always thinks the next step ahead, and he gets steals and blocks just because he thinks the next step ahead. Because
right. And
when he plays on
it's like
offense,
the
he knows the
doctor's
next step.
office, right? It's like the
Yeah,
doctor's
yeah.
office. The doctor's office, like they may not to be able to cure certain diseases, right? So you know what their answer is?
They can treat
Do
it.
do all the steps to prevent you from getting the diseases.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? So they like, yo, I can't, yo, once you get the flu, you know what I'm saying? We just gotta let the flu run its course. But what you could do is wear a mask. You know what I'm saying? That's what RJ has to do. Like when these guys size RJ up and get him at the top of the key, what RJ needs to do is think ahead. Okay, these dudes want me to size them up. So what I'll do is ball denial. I'll make it tough for them to get the ball.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And then make somebody else. By that time, the shot clock is running down. And then if they still want to do it, they'll be in a rush, so they feed right into my into my hands.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing that helps the plotting big is drop coverage, but there ain't no drop
Yeah.
coverage if you're a wing. So it's ball denial. You can't play drop coverage if you're a 6'7" small forward. You gotta get
No.
out there or ball
Yeah.
denial or trap.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can function out there if you're like a liability. Or you can foul a lot like PJ Tucker. You can
Yeah.
foul a lot.
Right.
Right.
I
I
did not
think
expect it
when we take RJ's game to the
Freeze.
next level.
I
Oh,
mean, I
go
wasn't
ahead, buddy.
talking about RJ's on a 2, RJ's
Yeah.
on a 3,
Right.
and I never thought RJ's a 4. Until
RJ's
you
a
brought
four,
it up.
bro.
And you know
RJ's a
what?
4.
You're probably right. And that's why he
Yep.
and Randall just don't mix.
That's why they don't mix, because
They don't
RJ
mix.
Barrett is think about this, Wiz. RJ Barrett is a Honey I Shrunk the Kids version of Julius Randle.
There we go.
They
Exactly.
do everything exactly the same, right? Everything. Exactly. Think about the free throw percentage is just about the same.
Mm-hmm.
What they shoot from the floor is just about the same.
Yep.
What they shoot from 3 is just about the same. Both of them left-handed. Both of them are dominant going left. Both of them score in ISO situations, not in the flow of an offense. Right?
Exactly.
So that's why the Knicks look clunky, because the Knicks
Both
legit
have
on some
bad vision out of double teams.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Now the one thing I think both of them are even, but you see that Julius Randle has a higher IQ, no. Let me take that back. Julius Randle is more
tries.
unselfish. Both of them can pass at a very good level, but Randle is more of a willing passer, and you see that in his assist totals.
Right.
RJ was like, I don't care how many people down there, I'm going to the basket.
Yep.
I'm like,
what-
and I'm
that's
just
what
like, I
frustration.
saw him hit like a pocket pass to Hartenstein. I'm just like, why don't
Why
you
don't
do
you
this?
do that all the time? Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
I think
I
that
do
would
want to
take
swing back
RJ's game.
to Nev's point about the halftime talk or something.
Okay.
Because there's something there that today was the first exact halftime to that. I said, please let them stay out there on the floor. Let them watch the dancers, whatever they gotta do. Let them don't leave the bench. Just stay out there, because when you go to the locker room, they all come back. You know, if it was only 1 or 2 guys, I would understand it's just okay, a little off. The whole squad comes back flat.
Yep.
So there's something about the locker room dialogue
That
has
happened
to be
today,
addressed.
Wiz. That happened last night.
I'm
I know, it happened.
gonna chalk up our third quarter issues with the fact that our offense is very predictable, and you go into halftime, teams will go in and game plan against
Make
our
the
first and
adjustments.
second
Yeah.
options, and then we come out and we struggle, and then we adjust when it's too late in the fourth quarter. That's really what it is, because our offense isn't.
Mm.
It
But-
isn't something
but the
that's
same thing-
like.
Fourth
But
could have been
Dre-
bad also.
But Dre, if the other team can adjust, so can we. That's what halftime is for.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
but Tibbs
typical
isn't.
example.
Tibbs doesn't adjust quickly. We can see that by his rotations,
Yeah,
guys that he put in.
that's
Like he's not that guy.
that's
He's
what's not
rigid.
happening. That's exactly what's not happening. We're not adjusting and coming out and saying, "Hey, they run such and such play, so we're going to try to take advantage of this team this way, or we need to guard them that way because you know what they were successful in such and such play."
Tibbs'
That's what
adjustment is yelling "go" to get into
exactly.
transition.
That's what I
It's,
think he's doing.
Hey, Wiz, hey, at halftime,
uh,
Thibodeau was like, "Drive on, soldier, drive on."
Yeah, exactly.
I want to ask you a
Oh
question.
man.
Do y'all think RJ can be like how Jalen Brunson is at the point? Do you think at the two he could be more effective as an offensive player than a
No,
defensive player at
no,
all?
Yes,
RJ Barrett's not.
Not
yes,
even like out muscling
yes,
No,
he,
RJ
he,
Barrett.
yes.
it, the thing that
Let me give you
oh,
an
go ahead,
example.
go ahead.
I am a short guy. Not
Me
very.
too, man.
I'm quick, but I'm short.
I'm
But
quick. I'm short and slow.
yeah, to play guys like Dre, which Gray probably 6'5" or 6'7", I can outshoot you. I can literally outshoot you from any distance. So even though you're taller than me and even quicker than me, I still can be more effective than you because you're going to have to stop me from way out there. RJ hasn't bring his offense to that level where he can
Mm.
compensate for his lack of defense. That's what he needs to do. He needs to raise his offense, be more effective on offense. So he's the issues he's having on defense won't be so it won't be so noticeable. So
If
that's what he needs to do. But right now
if
he can he,
RJ had a good enough touch, it wouldn't matter his athleticism because he gets to the
exactly.
paint at will. It's
Well,
just like if you compared him to like Shai Gilgeous Alexander, Shai Gilgeous is not quick twitch. He just
No.
has a mastery of change of pace, and his touch
And
is immaculate.
he's a glider. He's a glider too.
Yeah. Like
RJ wants to be a glider, but Dre, listen, man.
I'm trying to throw him a bone. It's looking bad for RJ.
But yeah, see, I
but
understand what Nev is saying
yeah,
about RJ's mismatch. But listen, man, you're not gonna take a power forward and teach them how to have touch, bro.
it's too late for that.
Yeah, RJ Barrett don't have touch. He don't guards have feathery touch, bro. That's how
Mm.
come they can shoot from back there. Like
but
Nev, if you didn't have like an example that you just gave, right?
yes.
If an example you just gave, if you didn't have touch, anybody could guard you from out there.
Mm. True.
You know what I'm saying? It's just because you have touch and you could shoot it. That's why people have to respect your other abilities. RJ Barrett, bro, did you see RJ Barrett from 3 tonight?
Yeah, but preseason though, he looked like he had it though. Preseason looked like he had it.
Right.
Something
And
was
in
there.
and in those workout videos, he looked
But
like he had it.
Exactly.
those workout videos never impressed me
Yeah, I
because
know that. Yeah, but the
because he
preseason
wasn't
one did.
one thing I teach how people how to shoot the ball. If you want to shoot a jumper, you must jump. That's the number one criteria. And he wasn't doing those things in the workout video.
True. That's
You
true.
know, you need to get off the floor, practice jumping,
Yeah.
because what I always tell my players is that you want to go like it's going downhill. So you make your practice harder than the game. So
Right.
if you jump off the floor at your hardest and practices at your hard, when you reach in the game, if you don't have to do that, you don't have to jump. But when you have to jump, you still gonna make the freeze. These players are
Mm.
not doing that. A lot of our players are not doing that. So when they have to get off, they have to get off just a little bit off the ground. They're gonna shoot bricks or air ball.
But Nev,
That's what.
RJ Barrett is not a short shooter. Like his shots are not short. RJ Barrett is missing his shots left and right.
Yeah, it's off. Yep.
So
Yeah.
Uncle Freezy, like
Exactly.
it seems like you have a better idea of who RJ is now. If you was the coach of the Knicks, what would you do with him?
The only thing that gives me promise about it is that he improved his free throw by a lot. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's giving me a little bit of promise that his free throws improved by a time. Like even if they're not like going in, you can see visually
Ooh.
he
Yeah.
has repetition and it looks
But I
better
want to
than
hear
what it looked
Freezy. Answer that question of Freezy. I want to hear you answer that question now.
Which one? What? Which one? What would I do with RJ?
Now that you know what he is, better know what he is. What will you do right now?
Hey man, I'm gonna tell y'all this, and people are gonna be disappointed.
Uh-oh.
We need to consider RJ Barrett more in the role of a Jay Crowder type player.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know people get frustrated by that. They're like, Jay Crowder, he just a role player. No, I'm not saying him exactly. I'm saying that's the template. That's the template where on
his
nights where
jumper got to
people,
get better.
yeah, his jumper and his defense, bro.
Yeah.
And his defense. Okay. But here's the thing. On nights where RJ Barrett plays against smaller forwards, then I have him play his power game. And when I mean smaller, I mean nights where RJ Barrett plays against guys like Cam Reddish, like the guys that are 6'8", 6'9", 205, 210. Let RJ use his power game, because just because they're taller don't mean they're bigger. You know what I'm saying? Then when RJ Barrett plays against favorable matchups, let him go to his power game. When RJ Barrett plays against stout power forwards, like maybe Anthony Edwards and things, Anthony Davis says, you don't want that matchup at all. You want RJ to pull that guy out to the perimeter and blow by him. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you freely. Like one thing I do want to see, but this would take a different kind of coach. I need RJ to do like inverse pick and rolls where he's like picking for a guard and he's popping, and that puts defenses in array. Like, or he's picking off Randall's man and allowing Randall to go downhill. Like if you were to watch the Warriors, for instance, Steph Curry's out there setting screens like nobody's business.
He's unselfish, bro.
And
RJ doesn't remind you of like Stanley Johnson.
Yeah,
Remember
Stanley
who?
Johnson.
Stanley
Yep, that's
Johnson.
him. That's RJ Barrett, Stanley Johnson.
Yep.
Yo, I saw a tweet today. This guy was saying he was at the game and he saw John and Bryant actually involved in the offensive schemes.
Wow.
Which could be.
Wait a minute. So DSJ says, it's Blorange Tears, the West Indian edition. Uncle Freezy now has to claim Grenada. I'm not claiming Grenada, bro. Y'all know my ultimate undivided love is for Haiti. Shout out to Haiti. 1805.
Jamaica, boom, boom, boom. Jamaica, man. Boom.
I get to claim a little bit of it because my parents are Jamaican, so I'm gonna claim it. But they gonna call me a Yankee anyway, so it don't matter.
Yeah, well, you sound like a Yankee boy.
Man. So Dre, are you first generation Jamaican American?
First gen. Yeah, first gen.
Okay.
Like I was born here. My parents came here and just popped me off here. So but I visit every other year, you know. So
man, I have no idea. I have no family. I have no idea. I'm like one of the Americans that have no idea about their lineage.
You could take one of them ancestry things. I get why people don't because of paranoia and stuff. You could take one of those ancestries.
Yeah, I would rather just claim Haiti. Yo, just
1804, they was warriors.
I can't claim Jamaica. Too many people are claiming Jamaica, right? So, yeah, man. Yeah,
but you need to either be in Brooklyn, Miami, Toronto, or London. Otherwise,
and I gotta say yo, and then so if I claim Jamaican, then I gotta say yo for everything.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think that's just part. But the thing about the RJ thing is I don't want to be disrespectful to RJ Barrett.
No.
Right? I don't want to be. I think RJ Barrett is the golden child. I think RJ Barrett is the future of New York Knicks basketball. And so I don't want to make it seem like I'm dissing RJ Barrett, right? But by year 4, if you can't recognize things, if you can't recognize stuff in 3 full years, in year 4, if you still can't recognize it, it's not the thing that you're looking at, it's the person doing the looking.
It's the
Yes.
perspective.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the perspective. Yep, that's right. It's the perspectives. Right. That's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, based on all my years of watching basketball, RJ Barrett is a tweener. Right? He's a
Yep.
tweener. He's in between the
That's a
2,
cuss
the
word.
3, and the 4.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And depending on what night it is, he could be any of those 3. Like before this year, we used to think RJ was a tweener between the 1, 2, and 3, but nah,
Yep.
he definitely ain't a 1. He
Nope,
See,
definitely ain't a.
Uncle Freeze, and
For-
that's the thing though. Like he's the type of tweener. It's like on the bad spectrum of a tweener. It's not like a Earl Clark who was like 6'9" and he could be a small forward or a power forward. RJ 6'7". He's only
The,
6'7".
the
You know what I
the
mean?
thing, yeah, like I'm agreeing with you. Like, but the thing is, when you put better athletes around RJ, it allows him to camouflage a bit better, and
That's a
his
fact.
flaws don't get shown up as much. When you
Yo,
see
why
him out
every
there
time
with
we talk
Cam,
about
when
why
you
every
see him
time we
with
talk
Cam,
about
he's not
RJ,
as
it
bad.
look like slander? Every time we talk about RJ, it's slander. Every time we talk about everybody else, it's not, bro. Hey, Casanova, I'm not slandering. I keep saying the same thing over and over. I love RJ Barrett. He's the future of New York Knicks basketball. All I'm saying is that he is not what we thought he was.
You got to you
Uncle
got to
Freeze is true
camouflage
tonight,
RJ,
man.
man.
That's all.
You got to camouflage RJ, and you got to play a specific pace to
We're
hide
trying
his
to find
flaws.
the best way to utilize, maximize his skill set.
Yes,
We're
yep.
not trying to get rid of RJ. We're trying to maximize his skill set so we can keep
Right.
RJ because he is the golden child. Now, Charles Barkley was 6'4", though, right?
I
Yeah.
feel like
You know, but
the Warriors would utilize RJ way better than we would,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're
like
also
like
the
in a
Warriors.
Draymond Green
So
type of role.
yeah, right, they would have a means to use a plotting heavy 6'7" guy. Like they would know how to not make him not make all his flaws show up at the same time.
Yeah.
See
That's really what it
that's the
is.
thing with RJ. I feel like what would take his game to the next level is him not being so selfish when it comes to him getting his points.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
his strength is not scoring. His strength is in his ability to play make. He's a good passer. He just has to be more of a willing passer.
I know.
Hey, Freezy, I'm gonna show you something that exemplifies the Knicks at the current moment. Since you're on your regular rig, you can
In
actually see
Studio
his
G.
private. Yeah, Studio G. I'm gonna show you
Yeah.
this. It shows how painfully average the Knicks are right now. If you look at it's actually hilarious how we're like spot in the middle of average basketball team.
Wow. Oh, so you say we're mid? We're absolutely mid. We're the middle of
We're
mid.
we're the exact middle of. We are 41 and 41
Wow.
personified right there.
What?
Look at the
Might as
That
well
most
throw,
efficiency.
likely gonna be our record.
might as well
Yeah.
throw Cam in the starting unit, throw him to the fire, see what we got. Shit. I mean, if we win, we win. If we lose, hey, it's a chance at a good draft.
It answers more questions.
Right.
That's yeah, so. But it speaks
Mm.
to how. I feel like phasing Fournier out would do more for us than anything else at the moment. At this
Wow.
current moment,
Mm.
Wow.
Wow. I
the
know.
efficiency
Um,
landscape.
and I think Rose also, unfortunately, Rose and Fournier being phased out.
Wes, I'd love to see some Miles McBride, bro.
There we go. That's exactly what I was about to say.
It's
Bring in
not gonna
Miles.
happen. Sorry.
I mean, 11 deep is not that bad after all when you saw today's game.
Yeah,
Except
well,
when you see a guy's not functioning, when you say it's not that you plan for 11 deep, you just put a guy on the bench when he's not functioning. Grounds is not happening tonight. Boom, let him sit. Fournier wasn't really going. Boom, let him sit. Mitch was hurt, so that's why he went 12. But you gotta
Cam
move
had it
guys away,
going.
move out the way, Get it to the next guy. You gotta rotate right through that.
It's
And
crazy how Cam got into the games with 6 minutes left in the fourth.
I know.
After the first half he had. That's actually crazy.
Yeah. And then you saw the difference he made, right?
Yep.
The immediate difference, like the team itself,
It's
looks
exactly
different.
what I felt.
It looks different with his athleticism on the court, making things happen.
Right.
Bro,
Like the turnovers he was forcing, the pressure you put on like we didn't have anybody that had an answer for him for Tyrese Maxey except for Cam. Nobody had an answer for him.
No, but here's the thing too, Dre. Just real quick, I want to give an example. I like this chart right here. This efficiency landscape is crazy. Wow,
You should follow him. He's a great Twitter account. He drops like advanced statistics on basically the whole league, and it'll put you in proper perspective on how you view the Knicks in relation to the rest of the league.
Kurt Goldsberry.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna do that right. I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah, he simplifies his advanced stats so it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Okay. All right, I'll do that. I'll do that after the show. Then I'll do that afterwards, and yeah, and keep that. But yeah, Wiz, you remember? I don't know if you remember this, but the Giants had a football coach in Bill Parcells that let Lawrence Taylor do whatever he felt like doing. You remember him?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Right. So that was one guy. He was an edge rusher, but he wasn't an edge rusher. Lawrence Taylor may be the greatest football player to ever have lived. Right.
Yes.
And that's saying something considering Tom Brady, Jerry Rice, Reggie White. You know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of.
Would you call him like the most dominant, like Shaq? Like the greatest may have to coincide with like championships and stuff, but like most dominant, like for peak, maybe most dominant.
No,
he's just great.
Lawrence Taylor did. No, Lawrence Taylor may be the GOAT, and I'm including Jim Brown too. Right, and the reason why I say that is because Lawrence Taylor took a throwaway position and turned it into a must-have. Like if you did before Lawrence Taylor, you don't remember outside linebackers, 3-4 outside rush linebackers. Nope. After Lawrence Taylor, if you don't have, look at what Bradley Chubb. Look at the money Bradley Chubb got. He got this.
Exactly. He created a position, an exotic position.
Yeah, back in the day, you used to block those guys with running backs. You used to have your running back just go out
exactly.
Now, after Lawrence Taylor, you had to put a back, a tight end, and a wide receiver coming in motion, your tackle, and a guard over there.
Exactly.
And hope he didn't get there in 3 seconds.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but what I'm saying is this: the reason why Lawrence Taylor was able to do that is because up the middle, the Giants had guys like Gary Reasons, Pepper Johnson, Harry Carson. So yeah, Harry Carson, who's one of my favorite people, by the way. Up the middle, and on the other side, they had a loose cannon named Carl Banks.
Yes.
Right. And so what I'm getting at is I'm drawing a comparison here to RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish. Right? How if you feel like RJ can be a jumbo 2, then you have to start guys that lend themselves to make up for the things that RJ Barrett doesn't do well.
Complimentary guys.
So you have to start Cam Reddish.
Like the margins that RJ can't get to, you need to have the guys that will fill in those margins.
Right.
That RJ can't get to, that Cam can get to.
Right, like you can't play RJ Barrett and Quentin Grimes together. You know why? Because Quentin Grimes is a smaller version of RJ Barrett. Not athletic, not athletic, not explosive. Now Grimes is more quick twitch than RJ, right?
A little bit, yeah.
He can shuffle a lot better. Like he can shuffle around.
Right, but he's not the fluid, explosive athlete that you want to have on a. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, for instance.
He can contest the shot. He can't block it like Cam can. That's really what it comes to.
Right. He's like Grimes is definitely a better on-ball defender. Like on ball, you ain't just getting ready to, But then when you start moving Grimes around the floor, you notice that he's not quite Marcus Smart. But he's good. He's great. He's a great defender. Right? But the thing is, what I'm saying with RJ is you got to kind of be careful with the lineups you put RJ. The reason why they gave Lawrence Taylor the ultimate green light is because the Giants had a whole bunch of headbangers all around the defense where you can let Lawrence Taylor just run because they'll call a play. I remember Bill Belichick said, we were down by 7 and we wanted to get in the prevent, so we told LT to cover the flat. And LT came back to the sideline with the football. It's like, hey, coach, look what I got. And Belichick was like, yo, why did you blitz on that play? And LT was like, hey, man, I'm a pass rusher. That's what I do. The play was designed that they were down. I'm sorry, the Giants were up by 7, and they didn't want to give up a touchdown. So they were like, yo, LT, just cover the flats. So LT, as soon as they snapped the ball, LT rushed the passer, sacked them, and recovered the fumble, and came back and gave Belichick the football. And Belichick was like, yo, I told you to cover the flat. And he was like, but I got a sack and a fumble. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm getting at is if you want RJ to be like this thing on defense, man, I think you got to surround him with guys that are flat. For instance, for an example, if RJ is the starting 2, I don't think you can start Randall at the 4. I'm sorry.
Nope. I agree.
That's tough.
I know.
I mean, if we're keeping it a buck, if we're keeping it a buck, we kind of been seeing it anyway because we had Fournier starting at the 2. Well, like he's 6'7". Fournier is 6'7", but he's like the weakest 6'7" you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
So we've kind of seen that it doesn't work at all when you have him in the game. But then every other lineup, when RJ is out there without Randall and Fournier, it's a positive lineup. Literally, by every net rating. Every single lineup he's not out there with Randall or Fournier, it works for whatever reason. So it's just...
You know what that is, right? Athletes.
They don't... Yeah, it's athletes.
See, what scares me is the lack of spacing as is. I'm not a big Fournier fan, but I see in order for Jalen Brunson to be effective, he needs spacing. And as much as Evan Fournier is not really giving us anything, like
you have to respect his jumper.
You gotta respect his jumper. And then if we put RJ at the 2, it's like, what can he provide us if we was to put him at the 2? Because I want Cam at the 3 starting, not because of his offense, because he gives us consistent effort on his defense.
Even though
clicking, go ahead.
Yeah, like even though Hartenstein isn't shooting well from 3, he gives us artificial spacing. Like he still pulls the center away from being directly in the lane, which helps RJ. But there are other drawbacks to that because the rest of the lineup isn't exactly gunners, So,
but you saw the best.
We saw
today though the cleanest shot to drop to the basket today for Brunson today was when Obi, Cam, Randall, and Audrey were on the floor. When Cam
he got to the lane
and Obi were outside on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And Brunson walked right to the basket.
Okay. It's just, and that's basically what the Mavs offense was all last season. It's literally what the Mavs offense was. It's like pull all the centers out the paint and let the playmakers go to work, and they're gonna find somebody or get to the lane, get to the hoop.
Right. Yeah. Yo, what are we gonna do about shooting, bro?
Oh man, I don't even know, bro. It's
OB. Send him to the OB 3-point shooting class.
I want to pray.
You were saying Actually, a week ago, people were saying all Obi can do is dunk. Leak and dunk, leak and dunk.
I,
Not
I,
saying
I have
all
a
he can do is hit
suggestion.
threes. All he can do is hit threes.
Why don't we focus all of our attention on defense and getting stops and play how the Lakers played? I think that one time with LeBron James, I don't think Russell Westbrook was with him, but they didn't have any 3-point shooters. They were just focused on taking it to the paint. Why don't we focus on doing it that way? We don't have any 3-point shooters.
Because we don't have the overwhelming athlete. We ain't got no Anthony Davis and LeBron on this team where they go to the paint. They either getting fouled or they getting a bucket. There's nothing you can do about it. When Randall
Right.
goes to the paint, if he's not Randall doesn't get fouled that much, and when he puts it up, it's a
You
lot
don't
of
get the
work to get
ball.
his shot in. It's a lot of work for Randall and RJ to put the bucket in, put the ball in the hole. So it's not the same thing. Like we can focus on defense and try to get out in transition and get easy looks, but you can't live off of transition at the highest level of basketball.
I just think they just don't get. I think Randall and RJ just don't get fouls at the basket. They don't
Think
get foul
so?
calls.
They don't
Yeah, they
flop.
don't get the call.
They don't scream enough when they get fouled like Anthony
Right.
Davis.
Exactly. They don't flinch.
Like they get
Yeah,
hacked and then they just turn to look at the ref with a stone face. They got to start screaming and flopping and falling on the ground and act like they got shot or something. Because
They
that's
got
really
to be Marcus Smart with it.
Oh,
extra.
Luka.
You got Don P. He got to put the ketchup packet on his head like
Yeah.
Ric Flair. He got to act like he got cut.
Yup, they got you.
He got to fly. Hey, Paris Duggar, man. Paris Duggar says, so happy he can talk about Grimes. He's 1-0 Freezy. Maxey went 10 for 29 from the field. Grimes, IQ, and Cam salute. Yeah. Hey, man, what I want to do, man, is can we just be fair? Can we be even?
I think Maxi missed like his last 8 shots, and once most of them was covered by Kim.
Yeah.
Maxi was like 10 for 21 at some point. Like he was at 50%, and then he went downhill.
It was downhill from there. I think Tibbs made the adjustment at halftime.
Like no, he was cooking in the third quarter, and then he like the real adjustment was towards the fourth quarter and the end of the fourth. Because he was shooting his shooter was on and off in the first half, and then he started cooking. That's when they got the lead. He started cooking real heavy in the third.
Melton was bricking everything in sight. And if you notice, Dre, if you notice the 3-pointer that was in the air to win the game, you know who was defending that guy? Cam Reddish.
It was Cam, with the close.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, would you be opposed to this? 16, 16, 16 as a game plan for those 3 guys, Grimes, Cam, and Fournier, and you fluctuate the time based on who's cooking, and then Cam gets a few minutes from RJ, which means now he's up to like 20, maybe 24, and then Obi, RJ, and Randall also share time, so we're looking at 30, 30, 24 for Obi.
Shout out to
Obi
Will
gets
for trying to
24.
phase RJ out.
No, RJ's still getting his 30. The guys who getting dropped is Fournier's getting dropped, and we're not going to really necessarily make Grimes.
He likes
point
Grimes. He just thinks he's a ham sandwich. So.
You want me?
Yeah, he likes Grimes. He just thinks he's a ham sandwich.
Yeah, it's because it's a sect of the Knicks fan base that thinks that Quentin Grimes is the answer to all that ails us. And you saw tonight, Quentin Grimes ain't the answer to nothing. He's a piece to the puzzle.
Yes, true.
Freezy, I did not expect Quentin Grimes to solve all puzzle. I will say it again. This team, the reason we are not able to shoot a lot is that our players are not playing freely. This has happened before. It's happening again. This coach brings too much pressure to bear. He wants to win too bad. He's obsessed about winning. Yeah. And what it is, the constant arguing about plays and denigrating them is having an effect. So, matter of fact, I thought this coach would get fired if they had lost tonight, or should have been fired already.
Fired, bro.
Yeah, the one player that hasn't been affected by um by teams yelling and screaming is Obi. So that's why I think, and Obi is a charismatic player. That's why I think you need Obi in this lineup too, because he's the one player that has been immune to this thing. Check Randall shooting. You can take anybody on this team, and nobody is shooting the well from the outside. It doesn't matter what percentage they had.
Right. That's what I was telling Drake earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally nobody's shooting well. So there's something on under the surface that's affecting our plays from shooting even wide open shots. I count last night in the Atlanta game. I didn't do it in this game, but in the Atlanta game, we took 12 to 14 open shots. We only made 4. 12 to 14. We only made 4. That's not 50% right there. We should be making around 6 to at least 6, close to 6. I think that's about the average 6, 50% or so around there. We're not making open shots, and when we don't make wide open threes, we actually because those are momentum shots. Wide open threes are basically momentum shots. If you don't make it, and the other team goes on the other end and make a wide open three,
Deflating.
exactly. It deflates our team and it emboldens the other team. So that's why it's to me.
Emboldened is an excellent word choice, by the way.
All right, thank you. That's why it's imperative to me that we put Obi in the lineup, because he's the one player that hasn't been affected. He's the one player that's shooting over 50% from threes. Yeah, so he will alleviate some of the tension. Some of this thing we're seeing where Randolph and RJ can't play together. I think he's the one that will get them to play together, because he constantly move. Those guys do not do that. So his movement, he's constantly moving all the time, will get them. They will always have an outlet where they can feel they can relieve the pressure, and that will help our teams tremendously.
Okay.
I like him a lot, but for me, I rather see Obi in the starting lineup first and see if that works. And if it doesn't work, you can always go to camp. We need a
Obi in the
coach
starting
that's
lineup
willing to
as
do
what?
all
The
the
small
things.
forward? As the small
Huh?
forward? Or you want
Yeah,
Obi at the
what?
small forward?
put him it's not even the small forward, because you still having Randolph in the game. Whoever is the most
Oh, so
difficult
Randall is
player,
the small forward.
Randolph
Is
is
Positionless.
right.
You want to play three
at
guys up
night.
front that just play freely positionless.
So let
No,
me
no.
ask you. Let me ask y'all a question.
All you're doing is playing a big lineup. You have your center, your regular center. You put Obi or Randolph at the free. They're interchangeable depending on the matchup. You either have Randolph guard. You will always have Randolph guarding the tough guy, the
Who's the
most
5?
difficult
Who's the
player.
5?
Yeah, who's the 5?
It could be
iHeart?
it could be Mitch. It could be Haddonslide. I don't care.
So you
But
want to go extra big, extra
I
large.
want to go extra big.
But what
Yeah,
about the
and see,
defense though?
you're not
You,
losing nothing on the defense because you're actually going big. You have a big lineup. What are you losing?
Jalen
Yeah,
Brunson,
and you
Jalen Brunson.
The thing is, teams will run a 3-4 pick and roll with Obi and Randall and run that to death
And run
until
that
you
to death
take them
and
out.
make and Tom Thibodeau will rip his hoodie off.
no, I
Tom
disagree.
Thibodeau will do a snow
I
angel in the middle of the
I
court. He'd be
I
so
would
mad.
disagree. Cleveland did it all of last year with what's that guy?
Thing is,
Aaron McAfee. And
Mobley and Markkinen. Mobley is such a defensive freak. He picks up the slack.
Right.
Obi and Randall
what
are
I
not defensive freak, and Jared Allen is very good at defense as well.
And
to pick up the slack.
Nev, and listen, and the thing that you're missing here is that if you for a split second took your eyes off Garland, he was gonna knock down threes.
Yep.
Jalen Brunson, if you take your eye off him for a split second, he gonna try to drive and get in the lane.
He gonna dribble about 3-4 times, get to his spot, and
what
take a
Yeah.
turnaround,
what
mid-range shot.
And Nev, I understand what you're saying, but Nev is saying, what about 90s basketball? What about when the Knicks used to run Pat Ewing, Charles Oakley, and Charles Smith in the game at the
Mm.
same time, and then
Wait,
sub
what
out
about
Oakley and
Anthony
bring in
Mason?
Anthony Mason.
And Mason,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But here's the thing though. That's why I asked about the defense, because you got Jalen Brunson. Yes, he's a running defender, but we all know what it is with him on defense.
Physical limitations.
Yeah. Number two, you got Evan Fournier. You got an option between Evan Fournier or RJ Barrett. Neither one of them are gonna
But
be any good on defense.
Bro,
I just
oh,
I just
speaking of Fournier, hold on, my fault. Let me jump in. Speaking of Fournier, did you see that lineup at the beginning of the fourth quarter? Where it was Fournier, Obi, Brunson, all in at the same time? Like that
Yep.
was terrible. Oh
saw it.
my God, that was terrible.
Yo,
Okay.
matter of fact, Fournier was looking around like, "What is this?" Did you see Fournier's face? Fournier, what is this?
Oh wow.
Yeah, because it looked for a second like Fournier at the 4.
Oh my God, it was
Or it was something weird. It was something weird.
it
Man.
was a weird combination with Obi and Fournier and like another non-defender out there at the same time. It just didn't work.
That was Tom Thibodeau panicking.
Was it Rose? Was it Rose?
Nah, Rose didn't play in the second half at all.
Okay.
It had to have been IQ
you see
or
what
Brunson.
what I have seen from this coach is that he's fearful of doing anything that's not set in his mind.
He only goes when he's comfortable.
so
with it.
literally-
he's not going to go against convention. He's
Yes.
a conventional
Right.
coach.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's bad because so many teams play all kind of stupid lineup. I was watching Boston the other day. They had Derek White and Evan Mobley. Derek White. Because
Right.
they were looking to try to take advantage of a certain situation.
Right.
So they were willing to play that. We are too scared about willing to try anything.
Right.
And that's what
But you know what,
worries me.
Nev, I think what you're doing though is you're giving guys a lot of credit for having a defensive IQ, that they can actually function in those sets. And not everyone can function like that. Some people just get lost on defense.
Like Obi. Yeah.
No,
Like-
I
yeah.
don't- no.
And when you mention the Celtics doing that,
No.
they have guys that have positional flexibility. Like
No.
Jason Tatum can play anywhere from 4 to 1. He can
No.
guard ones.
No,
at
I
times.
disagree. We have to ask our players to raise the IQ
know.
level and play at a higher level.
But
There's
but-
IQ
but
level
Nev,
and then
that's-
physical
That's
capabilities too.
how I teach. That's
you
how
ever
I
took
teach.
calculus?
I
You ever took
don't-
calculus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
You know,
and for the
some people, no
and
matter
for
how you
the,
try
for
to
the record,
explain,
calculus is not math. Calculus should be
No,
science.
no, that's not the point. Let me tell you something. Let me share this with you guys. I was trying to learn Illustrator. That's an Adobe program.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Yeah.
I know, and it didn't matter what I tried, it didn't matter. The teacher I had, I just couldn't get it.
right?
One time, I got this French guy, this Spanish guy, and he had a heavy accent.
Right.
But the guy, he taught me this thing so easily. It just opened my mind.
Okay,
It's either we don't have a good teacher teaching this place,
there we go.
or that's basically what it is. It's either we don't have a teacher or we don't have players that willing to learn.
Okay,
One
but
or
what
the
if he tried
other.
to? What if he tried to teach you Adobe Illustrator, but you didn't have eyeballs? Then how would you know? That's like physical limitations. Like you could teach Fournier to play. You could teach Fournier to play defense at a high level, but he physically cannot keep himself in
Yeah, I
front
think
of these
Fournier.
guys.
I think Fournier lost
I
a step.
agree.
Fournier lost
Fournier
a step.
cannot play defense, but we could do a better job of taking advantage of his offense. We're not doing neither.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's not that I'm saying keep Fournier in the starting lineup. I am saying be willing to try multiple things and ask your player to raise
I
their
know.
level. You
I
must.
agree.
And where you coming from? I
We
understand.
must ask our player to play at a higher level. Otherwise,
But Nev, everybody is not a lifelong learner. Like with me, I'm a lifelong learner, right? Even at my age or whatever, I still like to learn new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like if you could teach me something new, I'll be willing to learn it. You know what I'm saying? But then when you take into account what guys they made it to this level because they were good at doing a certain thing and they're not willing to learn, no matter who the teacher is, bro, they're just not gonna get it. But you were receptive, right? you were
Right.
receptive. I don't know if everybody is receptive to it. I think a lot of these dudes on the team are reading the press clippings just like us. I think people know that Tom Thibodeau is on the hot seat. They're like, man, I ain't going to do that. He ain't gonna be here in January, no way.
Right.
Anyway, guys, I got to get out of here because I'm going to try to do a Knicks morning drive in like
Man, it's
4
early,
hours.
man. We're talking about what are you guys going to bed for? It's only 12:30.
It's only 8:30 in Hawaii. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get out of here, man. Thank you for everybody for coming through.
All
Dre,
right, man.
as usual, bro. Appreciate you. Wiz, Nev, it's good to see you. Don
Likewise,
P,
man.
man, it's good to see you. Ron Cleveland, thank you for coming through, man. Everybody, thank y'all for coming through, man. We're gonna get out of here. We got a game tonight. It's gonna be a long day today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
KMD, then the show, then probably another show like this early Sunday morning, then a New School Knicks Sunday morning at 9. And so we're gonna be on hot and heavy.
Keep it rolling, man.
Yeah, man, we're gonna keep it rolling, bro.
All right,
All right,
man.
y'all. Y'all have a good